Hey, it's Bruno here. Wow, you must have worked extremely hard. That was a lot of code, but I can't believe it. We have sessions. Our users don't have to constantly sign in to use our SmartBrain app, and we've protected all our routes so that our endpoints are now safe. This is incredible work. I loved how you used Redis to make sessions really fast to check, and couldn't thank you enough. I think you need a couple of days vacation after that one though, because that was a lot of code. Anyway, really appreciated. Our company is growing tremendously because of you, so I think there's a promotion coming up for you soon. Anyway, take a break. I'll see you in a couple of days back at work. Bye-bye. All right, everybody. Good job. We managed to impress Bruno, and that was a really tough section. But the beauty of that section is that you now have a code base that you can use to expand on your projects, because most apps that you're going to use will have some sort of users and sign-in functionality. You want to make sure that there's some sort of sessions, and you also want to protect some routes. So you can use the SmartBrain app in whichever way you want to extend it and make it better, or to even create something new on your own. But you now have a good understanding of how to use sessions and JWT to have full access and control over your users. We've managed to create our sign-in route where we store username and passwords, the hash passwords, in our database. If a user signs in, we generate a token, and that token gets also stored in our Redis database. Now, you might be asking yourself, doesn't this make it extremely complicated and also take longer? Well, because Redis is a memory storage, it's stored in memory, it's extremely fast. One of the fastest databases you can have for accessing small pieces of data like session tokens. So this is really fast, and you're able to scale because you can just have multiple Redis databases and multiple API servers. So we've built a system that is extremely scalable. You can just keep adding machines to it, and it'll work fast no matter how many users. We're also able to have JWTs that contain some sign of information, so that if we have other APIs that we need to talk to and it's just not a simple client-server relationship, we can use this token to actually talk to other API endpoints from our server. Again, it's extensible as we move to more and more servers, deeper and nested architectures, which again is beyond the scope of this course, but this teaches a great way to expand and possibly have a scalable solution to your architecture. Anyway, we stored this token into our Redis server and we return it to the client. The client then stores it in their session storage or local storage. And from there, the user can do whatever they want anytime they need something like updating a profile or getting a profile or any other routes. They simply grab that token from their session storage, send it to us. We say, oh, thanks for the token. I see the authorization header. I'm going to check Redis. Hey, Mr. Redis or Mrs. Redis, do you have that token? Yep, I do. If they do, here's the ID. And once that check goes through, the server says, all right, you say who you say you are, you can have your nice present. Now, looking at this code, there's a lot of things that we can improve and a lot of things that we could refactor. And if you're starting to notice these things, that's really good. That means you're starting to understand how the dots are connected, how things are connected. And I encourage you to clean up this code and see where you can improve, what you can do. I also want you to do a little bit of an exercise. And that is, if you remember, in our app.js, we have new fields that we've created in the state, a pet and an age state that the user has. But we need to actually add those columns to our tables and have the ability to update these. Maybe in the profile update, we can also send the pet and age to update these values. So this is your challenge. Knowing what we just done, incorporate the profile update endpoint to also account for pet and age. As a hint, you might need to update the create table. Where is that? In the Postgres right over here. In the tables, you might have to add a few extra columns in here, such as pet and age. and you might have to take down your container and rebuild everything. But once you do that and you go through the steps, you can expand upon the profile post update to also include age and pet. Now, we finally incorporated all the things that we've learned in the past few sections. And you can see now how clean and nice our working environment is. We've put our Redis database and API all into this one container. So from one command in development time, we're just able to have things work and really have fast development. I hope you see the value in that. And as a developer, you now have the ability to incorporate this in your team. Your bosses, your clients, your company is just going to love you for it. So I highly recommend you do this and something like this. We also used things like Redis to be able to create scalable large applications. Because we know how to use containers now, we can make multiple replications of our API server. We can make multiple replications of our databases and multiple replications of our Redis database, which is really, really fast. So even though the API is queuing Redis for ID and checking the session token, it's extremely fast so that we can keep adding machines to it, and scale in production as more and more users grow. And we're going to cover load balancing and how that might work in Performance Part 3. But this diagram should now make a lot of sense to you. And how all these pieces are connected is one of the hardest things to grasp. So if you're able to understand this, if you're able to follow along, code along with me, and understand what I've done up until now, you are far above a regular web developer. You now have a high-level picture, so you can decide for yourself what kind of architecture you want. What do you want to do when you build an app so that it is pleasant to work with for developers, but also come production time, it's able to scale and it has the flexibility to grow. And with that, I think we all need a break. I'll see you in the next section. Bye-bye.